We have conducted the experiment in the previous video. Now we are going to see how to do the calculation in order to find out the thermal conductivity of the metal rod. Just I will revise what is the aim of the experiment, the determination of thermal conductivity of metal rod. If we have any metal rod, then we can find out the thermal conductivity with the help of this setup. This is the just the schematic of the setup. Here the heat source is there, and this is the metal rod. Of course, cross section is a circular one. Okay, circular cross section having diameter of 25 mm. Here the heat source is connected to this rod. That is, it is wrapped to the rod, and some part is at the base. From this particular section, the thermocouples are connected. Starting point is T1, ending point is T9. So along the length T1, T2, T3, 4 and up to T9 are connected. The distance between first and last thermocouple is 200 mm. So we used to say this 200 mm is the test specimen. Okay, 200 mm. Now we have taken the readings for T1 to T9. We have taken the reading for the cube. That is, here at the end of the rod, water jacket is there. Whatever the water is coming in, we are going to measure. We have measured the temperature of that is T10, and water leaving temperature or temperature of water leaving is T11. That also we have taken. Now, in order to calculate the thermal conductivity, we are going to use the basic formula of Fourier's law of heat conduction. The formula is Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx, where Q is the amount of heat conducted, K is the thermal conductivity, A is the transverse cross-sectional area, dt is the temperature difference across dx, or it is called as temperature gradient. Okay, here unknown is this thermal conductivity K. Now whatever the observation we have taken, those are in order to calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 terms. Okay, first we will see what about dt. dt means, how to calculate dt? dt means temperature difference across the test section. So what is the temperature difference across the cross section? This is T1 and T9. Okay, so we can take test section dimension as this 200 mm. So difference between T1 minus T9 will be your dt. Okay, but always we used to take dt 2 minus 1, hence we can write this T9 minus T1. Okay, so this particular, as T1 temperature is more than T9, this particular dt term will be negative. Okay, so we will convert this particular dt term as T1 minus T9, and we will cancel this particular negative sign. This negative sign will take care of this dt. Always heat transfer will take place from higher temperature to lower temperature. dt means what in mathematics? 2 minus 1. Okay, T2 minus T1 is called as dt. But heat transfer takes place from always higher temperature to lower temperature. Hence, the difference T2 minus T1 is always negative. So, in order to compensate this negative sign of dt, this minus is there. So, as we are going to take T1 minus T9, we can take here just positive sign. Now, we have the dt with us. What is dx? dx will be the difference of the distance between T1 and T9, that is 200 mm. So this is 200 mm. Just convert it into meters, that is 0.2 meter. You will get T1 and T9 from your observations in degree Celsius. We have done with the dx. Now what is area? Okay, area will be area of the copper rod. The diameter of the copper rod D is 25 mm. Convert it into meter, that is 0.025 meter. So cross sectional area will be A is equal to pi by 4 into d square. So pi by 4 into 0.025 square. This will be your answer in meter square. These are calculation you are supposed to do. So area you will get. Now there are two unknown terms, Q and K. Our aim is to find out this K. Last unknown parameter is Q. How to find out the value of Q? This Q we are going to find out with the help of this water jacket arrangement. Q is the amount of heat conducted through the rod. Some student may have the question, as we know V and I for coil, then if you are going to multiply V into I, then it will be the heat. Then why we are not taking that Q as this particular value? In Fourier's law, the Q is the amount of heat conducted through the rod. This is the heat. V into I is the heat generated by the heater. But whatever the heat generated by the heater, all the amount of that heat is not conducted through the rod. Some of the heat may be radiated in outward direction. Some of the heat may be goes to the insulation and convected to the surrounding. Okay, so this particular heat we can't take as the heat carried by conduction. Then what is the second option? Second option is this particular arrangement. The arrangement is made such that water will flow around this rod. So whatever the amount of heat conducted by this rod will be taken away by this water. Okay, water will enter, water will leave. So it will carry the heat continuously. So this heat can be calculated with the help of formula. Q is equal to MW CPW, then T inlet minus T outlet, or T outlet minus T inlet. So that temperatures will be T11 minus T10. Q is equal to MW is called as mass of water which is flowing, or mass flow rate. CPW is called as specific heat of water. That CP value is CP is equal to 4.187 into 10 raised to 3 joule per kg Kelvin. Of course, you are supposed to take it in the joule, not in the kilojoules. So this value we have noted observation T10 and T11. Now question about MW. MW is mass flow rate of the water which is flowing through the jacket. Now how to calculate mass flow rate? For that, what we have done? We have taken the volume flow rate. Okay, volume flow rate. How we have taken volume flow rate? Volume flow rate means known amount of volume divided by time. So what we have done? We have taken volume as 1 liter of the water, or 1000 ml. So what? 1000 ml of water is collected in time 58 point something. So we will take it as a 59 seconds. So what is the volume flow rate? Volume means some volume is flowing with respect to time. So this value will be in ml per second. But the value of MW required in this formula in the unit kg per second. Now how to convert this ml per second into kg per second, that I am going to explain you now. For that you should know some basic. First basic thing is 1 liter of the water. Okay, 1 liter of the water is equal to what? 1000 ml. Okay, 1000 ml. On the reverse side, how we can write? 1 ml of water is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 liter. 1 ml of water is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 liter. This is about the conversion from liter to milliliter. Similarly, 1 liter of water is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube. 1 liter of water is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube. Now, then, as 1 ml of water is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 liters and 1 liter of water is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube. Now, I want 1 ml of water is equal to how much meter cube? So, it will be 10 raised to minus 3 into 10 raised to minus 3 is equal to 10 raised to minus 6 meter cubes. So 1 ml of water is equal to 10 raised to minus 6 meter cube. Now we will put this meter cube here. So it will become 1000 into 10 raised to minus 6 meter cube per second. This is 59 in the denominator. Let's see, it comes from this arrangement. So still we are in volume flow rate only. Volume flow rate, now we have converted into SI unit, that is meter cube per second. this much amount of meter cube per second. Now, how to convert this volume flow rate, that is meter cube per second, into kg per second? For that, we have to take the help of fluid mechanics. All of you know that term density. Density is equal to what? Mass upon volume. Means m by v. This particular mass upon volume we can rewrite as mass flow rate upon volume flow rate as a density. So we can write mass flow rate upon volume flow rate. So density will relate mass flow rate and the volume flow rate. Now we know density of the water. Density of water will be 1000. What is the unit? Kg per meter cube. All of you know. Now, what is the mass flow rate of the water? Mass flow rate of the water is m dot w, that we want. And what is the volume flow rate of the water? Volume flow rate of the water will be 1000 into 10 raised to minus 6 upon 59. So if we are going to transfer this particular term on the right hand side, unit will be meter cube per second. So if we are going to transfer this term on the right hand side, we will get m dot w. So I will rewrite it. M dot w is equal to 1000 in 1000, unit is kg per meter cube, into this particular 1000 into 10 raised to minus 6 upon 59 meter cube per second. So if I am going to cancel this meter cube, so the effective unit of m dot w will be what? Kg per second. So the value of m dot will be 1000 into 1000 into 10 raised to minus 6 upon 59. So I can cancel this 1000 and 10 raised to minus 6. So effective value will be 1 upon 59. Okay, kg per second. Or this calculation you can do at yourself. Now we got m dot w. If you are going to put m dot w here, you can calculate q. Just put this value of q here. We have already calculated dt, we have calculated dx, we have calculated area. So a, dt, dx known. From this calculation, we have also calculated q. As you know, all the four terms q, a, dt by dx, just put all the values in this expression, you will get the value of k as the thermal conductivity of this rod. So in this way, we can calculate the thermal conductivity of the metal rod, and this is the calculation procedure to find out the K value. Okay, so this was the aim of the experiment, to determine the thermal conductivity of metal rod, and that we have seen all the experimental setup, procedure, observation, and the calculation. Okay, so I hope you can complete the write up and the calculation procedure at your own. Okay, and after that you have to submit the write up, submit the journal to me. Okay, thank you so much for your attention.